Wrapping things up here on a crossover Thursday episode of Locked On Bucks, Locked On Broncos. Crossover Thursday is presented by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL, all lowercase, to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Sayre, what are the three things that the Denver Broncos need to do to get into the win column and pull off a big road upset of their own in Raymond James Stadium this Sunday?
Well, it's going to be three things that they haven't done through the first two games. Number one, they're going to have to run the ball. Number two, they're going to have to force a few turnovers. And number three, they're going to have to be effective and efficient in the red zone. Right now, Broncos are 32nd in the NFL in red zone conversion rate. So obviously they're not scoring touchdowns when they do get to the red zone. And they've been really bad in terms of forcing turnovers at this point in the season. They need to force more turnovers. If your pass rushers are consistently getting to the quarterback, as they have been, you might have to pop that ball loose. I know it's easier said than done. And then offensively, committing to the running game. Bo Nix has been getting absolutely flamed in the NFL Twitter world these days, as you've seen, I'm sure, James, because the guy's been throwing, I think he's thrown almost 80 passes in the first two games. That's kind of ridiculous for a rookie quarterback in his first, two NFL starts. The Broncos have not been able to run the ball. Javonte Williams, 1.5 yards a carry against the Steelers last week. Jaleel McLaughlin, not much better, 3 carries for 6 yards. So they have to be able to run the football, and they have to stick to it. They have to commit to it. Stop with these empty sets on 1st and 5 after a penalty by the defense, and you're running empty. You're giving away what you're doing out there. Sean Payton has to help out his rookie quarterback this week and commit to a running game.
Yeah, and look, Sean Payton knows Todd Bowles, and he knows what can work, what should work against a Todd Bowles defense, and that has some Bucs fans concerned because they are more than familiar with Sean Payton and everything that he did while coach of the New Orleans Saints. I realize that the Broncos offense is not what the Saints offense was, but that doesn't mean that there aren't weapons and that they can't expose some of the weaknesses of this Bucs defense, especially with some of the injury problems. But look, the Bucs are looking to move to 3-0 and really be able to solidify themselves in the eyes of the NFL world as contenders. So if they want to win this game, they've got to run the football. They have to get after Bo Nix and take advantage of a backup offensive tackle there in Denver. And the most important thing, do not overlook the Broncos. This Buccaneers rushing attack has not been good so far. It's not time to panic yet, but a combined 40 yards from your two running backs against the Detroit Lions last week is not what you want to see. Yes, both Bucky Irving and Rachaad White are dual threats. They were not involved at all in the passing game against the Lions. They have to be involved in the passing game, but they also have to run the ball efficiently against a defense that can give up big chunk plays in the run game. They have a good defensive line, but you get to that second level, and all of a sudden, guys like Rachaad, guys like Bucky, they can make players miss, and they can turn 4-yard gains into explosives. As for the defense, they have to get after Bo Nix. 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, get the pressure in his face, but more importantly, what they didn't do in Detroit is finish the play, get Nix on the ground. The Broncos are coming into this game with a backup right tackle. This is the time for Yaya Diaby to really step up and show the world that that hype train that he had all offseason wasn't for nothing. He's gotten pressures, he's forced bad throws, but it's time for him to start bringing down the quarterback. Same thing goes for Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. He has made some impact plays, but he has to bring the quarterback down. Todd Bowles is a master of bringing blitzes. He has to bring pressure from different areas without showing weakness in a beaten up secondary. And then the most important thing to me is do not overlook this Denver Broncos football team. It doesn't matter that it's a rookie quarterback. It doesn't matter that they're 0-2. This has trap game written all over it. And if you overlook this Broncos team, it can spiral out of control. It's real easy for the Buccaneers to look to next week with the Philadelphia Eagles, then a short week against the Atlanta Falcons. Then you have the Saints, the Falcons again. You have Kansas City, San Francisco, Baltimore, all those games coming up. It's real easy to start to look ahead. You have to focus on the task at hand. Send Sean Payton back to Colorado, sad and dejected, something they didn't do very often when he was in the division.
Yeah, and for Broncos country, it's really looking back at it's like almost deja vu. They started 0-2 last year, started 0-2 this year, took a road trip to the state of Florida and came back wondering, all right, what just happened? Is that even real? Or did we just see a game of Madden played in real life, right? When you give up 70 points. I keep bringing that up, James. Commenters are like, let's stop talking about that Dolphins game. It's deja vu. We have to talk about it until it's, until we can completely forget about it. But look, I mean, this is the situation the Broncos are in, right? It's almost like, hey, if you can go to Tampa Bay and show signs of life offensively, or show us that maybe you can actually, like, what can we build on offensively from this game, even if you lose this game, because you're expecting, like, this is a team the Bucs should probably beat in terms of what the Broncos have done, averaging 11 points a game as an offense so far. The Bucs are playing at home. They're obviously a really good team that's got some continuity based on last year. So this is a team in the Denver Broncos that the Bucs should beat. So if you can go in there and catch a victory, as opposed to what happened last year where things spiraled out of control, man, this would be, I hate to say it, as you'd only be 1-2, but for the Broncos, that would kind of be a banner victory early on for Sean Payton this year, to be able to go in and beat an old division foe of his from when he was with the New Orleans Saints, as opposed to what happened last year. Things spiral out of control. The Broncos kind of become, are they sellers at the trade deadline? What are they going to do? Like Sean Payton said, these next 2 games for the Broncos, they don't define the season, but they are going to tell a lot about who this team is. And so getting a win on the road this week would be absolutely huge, not just for Sean and the perception of him from this fan base, but man, for Bo Nix as a quarterback to be able to play well in this game, I think that's maybe even more important.
Yeah, and a win by Denver in that situation can spark a run moving forward. There's no doubt about it. Like you said, it could be a banner victory, and it's those kinds of wins that can actually swing things within that facility with that roster and really make them start to believe, like, hey, we can go out there and we can hang with anybody, we can beat anybody. And those are the kinds of wins that you see send a team on an upwards trajectory. On the flip side, the Bucs are coming off of one of those types of wins. So losing this game against the Broncos undoes everything that they just did. It takes them out of the contender conversation. It takes them out of saying, like, this team is for real. They surprised people last year getting to the divisional round. Well, now they turn around and lost to a team that they should not have lost to. We talk a lot about stealing victories that you probably shouldn't get and then losing games that you probably shouldn't lose. The Bucs could see both of those things happen in back-to-back weeks. So it's going to be a really, really interesting one. And I'm going to be fascinated to watch the way that Sean Payton tries to attack the Bucs defense with the weapons that he has in Denver, having known how he used to attack them year after year after year.